Hey everybody, welcome back to Build at Home. I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper, coming to you. Let me do that again. I can't mess up my name. Hey everybody, welcome back to Build at Home. I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper, coming to you from my home in New York City. And today I'm pumped to be catching up with Shailene Woodley. But before we bring on Shailene, I just want to remind you guys to visit nokidhungry.org. Due to school cancellations, there's a lot of kids who are missing their daily meals. In fact, 641 million school meals have been missed because of COVID-19 related closings. So if you're looking for a way to help, if you want to donate, make sure you visit nokidhungry.org. And now I want to switch gears and welcome Shailene Woodley to Build at Home. Hi, Shailene. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm well as well. Where are you?
I am somewhere on the West Coast.
Gotcha. So how long have you been sort of social distancing and just what's your general vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I've been social distancing for a hot minute. I feel like I'm going on 7. A friend earlier asked me, he was like, when was the last time you hugged someone? And I think it might have been 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Wow.
It's a long time without physical touch.
You know what? Yeah, that it has been a while.
It's been a hot minute, but you know what? I feel good. We were speaking about this a little bit before we started, and we're just lucky, we're healthy and we're alive, and it's just another day in this wild life of never knowing what comes next. And I kind of see it as a beautiful opportunity for, if you do happen to be stuck at home and you are fortunate enough to be healthy, it's, there's a lot of pressures and fear and anxiety of what's going to happen after this. But in the moment, there's not much we can do apart from really show up with our neighbors, support organizations that you were just mentioning, and take time for ourselves, like really take time to spend time with ourselves, because it's something that we're not often afforded to do.
Yeah. How have you been spending the time? Have you picked up any new hobbies? Have you checked anything off of a to-do list?
I mean, I keep saying by the end of this, I'm going to have my handstand. By the end of this, I'm going to be great at rollerblading. Neither of those things have happened yet. I've watched more movies than I've ever watched in my life, which is really productive for me because I never think to watch TV or film. So that's really lovely. I have bathed. I'm like kind of a raisin because I just bathe all the time. What do you do to fill the time? What do you do? It's hard. I feel like once 2 p.m. hits, I'm kind of like, man, if I'm not in a rhythm or a flow and I don't have any moving momentum, I'm just like, I might as well get in my pajamas and go back to bed.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've had days where I've stayed in my robe, and that's okay.
When you're in like month 2 and you're like, okay, there's something I gotta do something different here.
There's like dual use of this time though. I think you should like obviously have a to-do list, but when else have many of us had an opportunity to just sort of sit still, So
I almost feel like we're all a little like monk-like right now. Like monks are so good at sitting still and just whatever tradition or religion they're part of. I feel like any practicing monk is just really good at stillness and slowness. And so that's what I'm trying to channel right now.
Is that your self-care routine? Is it like meditation and yoga, stuff like that?
I do a lot of meditation. I do some yoga, a lot of yoga. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it all looks different for me, because I think if you're not in a space to meditate, then it's really pointless. I know some people who seem to not have that issue. I definitely do. So I kind of take it one day at a time. Sometimes my meditation is having a glass of wine and putting on loud music. And sometimes my meditation is actually doing the whole, breathing and whatnot.
I'm the same. I've been meditating most days, but also sometimes my meditation has been coloring. I've been coloring a lot.
Dude, my dad, it was his birthday a few weeks ago, and I colored him this mandala. And it took like 7 hours of my day. I was exhausted, but it was great. I just FaceTimed with friends for 7 hours and colored. And every time they turned on their phone, they're like, "Are you coloring right now?" Like, yeah, I am. It's actually really meditative.
I love that. I love that you're making the most of your alone time. I just finished your film, Endings, Beginnings, and your
Mm,
character is somebody who maybe needed to take some alone time to
yeah,
figure out what she needed.
it's pretty relevant for right now, right? I feel like
Yeah.
the movie is actually coming out in a good time because it offers us a little bit of reflection on, what are we using as distractions in our lives and what could we maybe calm down with or, desensitize ourselves from in order to go within and really get to know ourselves more.
Yeah, absolutely. When I started watching, I was like, this is amazing because there are so many people who rely on other people to define who they are. And
Right.
we're in a moment now where we can't do that. We have to be alone and figure it out. And so watching your character sort of battle with those things, I was very much aware of where I'm at and what I'm doing. And I don't know, it was kind of perfect timing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the premise. What is the premise of the movie?
Oh boy, I find it to be a very simple story about a woman in 2019, 2020, just trying to figure out who she is and what she wants and discovering her own identity. She's in her late 20s, and I think most of us, when we, female or male, go through our late 20s, it's a big catalyst for how we're going to choose to spend the rest of our lives. I think it's a pretty concrete moment in reflecting upon who we've been throughout our 20s and who we want to be moving into our 30s. And so you witness this woman on a journey that's a very beautiful and some people would say chaotic or messy. I just think very simple journey. It's a journey of love, and it's a journey of trying to understand why she makes choices that she makes. And really, I think at the end of the day, it's about a woman who's understanding discernment and understanding refinement in a way that she never has before for herself.
Yeah, absolutely. Your late 20s is such a time of tremendous growth. And so, what was your balance of making her relatable and you could empathize with her while she was being kind of frustrating and making decisions that maybe the viewer didn't agree with? Because I did find myself frustrated with her, but also totally empathizing and realizing that I've done things like that as well, you know?
I think we get frustrated with people because we want the best for them, and it's so much easier when you're not in a particular position to see clearly and
Mhm.
to approach situations with a certain sense of clarity that when you are the person in the hot seat, you can't see because you got your blinders on. And so I think as an audience member, when you feel frustration, it's more because you can see the clear answer when the characters can't. And so it was fun to play that. I mean, it was really fun to immerse myself in a character in a role where she didn't have all the answers because I tend to be someone who's an overanalyzer and I approach situations from all angles before I make decisions. And I'm much more serious and I think responsible in many ways than she is. So it was nice to explore this alter ego part of myself that could just be a little bit more free and spontaneous and live with a little bit more abandon.
Yeah, I love her spontaneity, but she was also super lucky because the men in her life were very beautiful. Let's talk about your co-stars. Yeah.
They are beautiful. I mean, they're so fucking gorgeous, but they're also just beautiful souls. I mean, I got so lucky. I worked with Jamie Dornan and Sebastian Stan and Matthew Greg Gubler. I always mess up his last name. It's a tongue twister. They're just. I was talking to Sebastian earlier today about something, and it's just we had to throw ourselves in with such trust and such
Mhm.
sensitivity to ourselves and to the other person that it really allowed for us to connect in a way that you don't get to connect all the time on other movie sets. And so that felt very special, and it felt like this time capsule of sorts that will stay in our hearts forever.
Yeah, for sure. And take me through those scenes with Sebastian because your chemistry is just so palpable. I mean, what kind of work did you guys do to get those scenes right and to feel confident in them?
I mean, listen, so most of the movie is improvised, and the way that you normally rehearse with an actor is you go through the scenes, the lines, da da da, you find the truth. My rehearsal with Sebastian was staring, literally, we went over to our director's house and he had us stare into each other's eyes for 30 minutes without breaking eye contact and answer very personal questions about ourselves to the other person. So my intro to Seb was, hey, so lay yourself bare on the table, tell this person all of your vulnerable bits, and he'll do the same back to you. So really from the very beginning, and I think also we're both people who are hungry constantly for connection and for truth and for presence. And it is rare that you get to that you find people, I suppose, who are as willing to be as bare and as raw and as honest as he was. And Jamie as well. Jamie and I didn't get to do that staring exercise because he was working on another film. But from day one with him too, it really was, there was no trying to build chemistry with either of those men. It really was what existed between us energetically. And then you add the layers of the characters and the intimacy and the sexuality and all of those things on top of it, and you get what you get in the film. But the base essence of our, I think, deep love and connection is just inherently there.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So lucky when that chemistry is just there.
Ooh, so lucky.
I love it. And that staring exercise, have you done that with like real partners in real life on a first date? That seems very intense.
No, I haven't. But, it definitely inspired me to, I love exercises like that because I love feeling uncomfortable and I love a good challenge. But man, if you really have true feelings for someone and you're beginning to fall in love or date or be intimate with them, that would be very vulnerable. At least in our situation, we knew that we were actors and we knew that this is part of the job and we were doing the thing. But to apply that to real life, oof, that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a lot. The dynamic your character is in was very Aiden and Big from Sex and the City for me, because
Sex and the City. I didn't grow up watching TV.
Well.
But you can keep going.
I was going to say, well, you have a lot of time now. So if you want to check it out, I would suggest starting like season 3 and 4 are the best. But either way, she has kind of these two guys. One is more passionate and one is maybe more stable. And the whole journey is who is she going to pick? And so that's sort of what your character's dealing with. And I think, what kind of conversations did you guys have about that? Just because the conversations your characters have about it is so interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it really was ever about who Daphne was going to pick, more so than it was about Daphne learning what both of these men taught her about herself. Frank, I think in our society, we're conditioned to think one person can be our end all be all, but the truth is different people bring out different sides of us because we are multi-dimensional, musical, creative creature, monster people. And with Daphne, I think that Frank, Sebastian's character, he brought out the philosophical and the dreamer and the creative and the kind of fiery, juicy, sensual elements of herself. And Jamie's character, Jack, brought out the intellectual, stable, comfortable, cozy side of herself. So I think she used both of these men as mirrors to actually understand what she wanted to I don't think it was conscious, but I think afterwards, what she wanted to prioritize in her life, what felt the most important to her as traits and qualities for her to be, exercising her own energy on as she grows.
Yeah. Which is honestly just dating, right? I mean, that's the journey. That's all we're all trying to figure out.
Right.
With that said, when you go back to your early 20s to now in your late 20s, just what is something you would tell yourself about dating or romantic relationships that you wish you would have known?
I dated quite a few assholes. So I think that for me, it would have been, my advice would be, you don't have to hold on if they're not going to. That, and also, not every guy you fall in love with needs to last more than a month. I think it's very okay in your early 20s to be with someone for a month and then move on. I think the mistake is when you fall in love with somebody and then you stay for a long period of time in your early 20s. It's time to be a little bit more free with yourself.
That is such good advice. And I think that's where we leave it. I don't know, because people just would, I think that's just great advice to young people out there everywhere. I really love this film. Thank you for being a part of it. And the timing is so good. I think people are really going to connect to it.
I hope so. I really hope people watch it. It meant a lot to us when we were filming it. And I also just think it's very rare you get to see movies that are so based on character and on real people versus anything else. So I hope people enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got emotional. I laughed. I felt everything. So Endings Beginnings is available to stream on April 17th. Shailene Woodley, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Stay safe out there or in there.
Bye.